I've got a question that I'd like to explore. If America builds superintelligence before it fixes its justice system, who benefits? It's a really interesting question because we have artificial intelligence now that learns on the internet. And what internet does to people, it polarizes them with the information that based completely on negativity, on rage bait. You go online, you see horrible videos of people treating each other, you get angry. And that's why that's information we use to train AI. Just think about it for a second. And also, if you look at the justice system in America, it's more and more that we're developing this strange compassion to criminals over their weak victims. It seems like there's such a hidden agenda where you have to be compassionate toward criminals and somehow ignore completely victims, like they become irrelevant after crimes committed against them. How we train AI and what kind of sense of us superintelligent would build, what kind of notion of us it would build. Justice is important for society to exist. And if we have justice that based on compassion, there's no fairness in this justice. I truly believe justice must be fair and not compassionate. If someone committed a crime against someone else, this person must be fairly punished for their crimes. I think the problem I see in modern America, it's people incredibly generous with someone else's money, and also they incredibly forgiving to criminals who committed crimes not against them. Seems like they refuse to identify themselves with the victims, and they like this idea of forgiveness, that they so welcoming and so generous that they're ready to forgive any crime as long as this crime wasn't committed against them or their families. That's a mistake. I was born in Russia. I don't remember much about Soviet Union, but I remember the way my parents talk about it, or my grandparents, and I also watch a lot of Soviet movies, and most importantly, I've read Alexander Solzhenitsyn and his Gulag Archipelagos book several times. And what I learned about the Soviet Union, that they used criminals to punish productive element of society. They used criminals like enforcers, because what they did, criminals keep the people in check. There was nothing worse in the Soviet Union than to oppose the power, to be critical of the Soviet structure. And even if nothing worked around you, you still have no right to tell something about it. You should keep your mouth shut and praise blindly the Soviet structure and the Soviet leaders. And if you didn't, you would go to working camp where they would work you to death. And in this working camp, they have this cast of criminals. What happened is they put rapists, killers, thieves in charge of political prisoners, those who were convicted because of their political views. And as criminals, they were terrorized these political prisoners. And that's how Soviet Union Gulag system was running. What's happening now in America, I notice slight shadows of something similar. I hear more and more on TV how we have to be compassionate to criminals, as as the result of their societal position. It makes no sense because we don't think about their victims. And we should, because people who victimized by criminals, most of them will be crippled for life, mentally or physically, or some of them will even get killed. And we supposed to develop fair justice systems that doesn't have compassion. Compassion must be only attributed to victims, not to the criminals. The whole idea to treat criminals fair and not with compassion. And if you think about artificial intelligence, that we on the verge of creating superintelligence, and at the same time we have these crimes that make no sense. Like, think about it, we use iPhones to record crimes that committed against somebody, and this crime will be live forever on the server of Apple or other servers on the internet. I think it's the worst thing, because it's not only crime was committed against somebody. Now this footage will stay forever online and will always remind the victim about the crime that was committed against him or her, this humiliation, this violence, because it's there and everybody can see it and everybody can analyze it and everybody can talk about it. We use technologies to, in some sense, create never-ending crime against the victim. First it was committed against them in real time, then it was recorded, uploaded online, and now millions of people can watch it and discuss it. Think about their victims. That's the scary part, because it's like never-ending crime against somebody. When you watch these videos online, somebody get punched in the face or somebody gets shot or stabbed. Thinking about the relatives, the parents, the family, the spouses, the kids of these victims. Think that there's no closure. It's live and it's repeated again and again. It's like hell, because you see, I can imagine if somebody did this to my child, for example. It's like never-ending circle. You can see how your child, or like how your son or daughter or wife or husband or friend get abused again and again on the video. It's everywhere, and everybody can see this abuse, this humiliation, this degradation, this violence against a human being that incredibly dear to you. That's why we use technologies for. In my opinion, it must be prosecuted even harder if somebody recorded the crime. Maybe because they use sometimes as an evidence, but it's incredibly, there's something psychologically perverted in this idea to record a crime against somebody. When somebody recording on the iPhone, there's something scary about it, something so wrong. I don't know how to explain it. It's live forever. It's live forever over there somewhere, and everybody can find it and everybody can watch it. And it's so scary. It seems like it will never end. Because every bad thing in your life that happened to you, you want it to be done and forgotten. And you want it to move on. Now imagine this bad thing was recorded. And it's always somewhere out there. It always can be found by somebody. It always can be discussed by somebody, viewed by somebody, and then it's always harassing you. It's always there and tells you, look, it's there, and it will never let you be. We have to be very careful with the technologies, because technologies can be used as a never-ending hell. And now with artificial intelligence, it can be even amplified. You can create any sci-fi fiction and it might come It might become true in a year, or maybe 5 years, or maybe 10 years. Because I don't know what future humanity has, but seems like we have to relearn to be humans again and again with each century. Seems like we become so comfortable with ourselves that we forget how to be human. When we look at the screen and see crimes that happening against other people, we treat it as some sort of a movie, something that's not real. Or like a rage bait. We get angry, we make fast decisions, we create certain biases that's sometimes not true. We have to be very careful how we perceive the world that is happening right now around us, and we have to think twice and be a bit slower in the way how we judge ourselves and other people. And of course, I don't think it's a good idea to keep recycling these horrific videos. I think these videos should be used as evidence, and then it's supposed to be deleted from the internet world out of the respect of the victims that were filmed while being abused. Otherwise, the world is getting darker and darker, and artificial intelligence eventually would amplify this darkness. And in the end, nobody will be sure what is real and what is not. And it's even worse, because how do you know now if it's video real or not? There's so many videos that incredibly good imitation, incredibly good copy created by AI. How do we know? The darkness is here, and it's getting really dark. And if we don't learn again to be humans to each other, nothing can help us. And that's where we have to be very careful. And remember that we all responsible for each other's sins, as Dostoevsky said, because in some sense we're all responsible for each other, and we should be able to stop a crime from happening and not pull our iPhones and start filming it. Because when you film a crime that's happening, you in some sense participating in this crime. You have to stop the crime from happening. You have to protect the weakest, and you have to you have to respect human life, because that's all we have. We don't know what happened after death. This life is all you have, and you have to protect this life or life of somebody else's at all cost. And I think that's the main idea. And if America builds superintelligence before it fixes the justice system, who benefit? Nobody. We're going to get so confused and so angry with each other that eventually I think superintelligent will win. And that we are, because I don't think we're ready for superintelligence. We're not smart enough. We still behave like primitive apes and don't want to learn. We keep inflicting pain and suffering upon each other without any regrets, and keep moving on. We keep recording abuse of each other on our iPhones and share it online. No one will win with superintelligence, but superintelligence